Yes, the PlayStation 5 did come to Canada, and yes, it is still upgradable for your memory storage. So today, we're gonna upgrade the storage capacity on this PlayStation 5 Slim Edition. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. We've already done the unboxing of the PlayStation 5 Slim. Obviously it came with everything that you see over here. How big is it compared to your regular fat PlayStation 5? How much does it weigh? What does the initial boot up look like? Well, we already covered that in a different video. Today, we want to figure out how easily you can install an SSD upgrade in your PlayStation 5. So today we're gonna be using this. This is the X-Power PCIe Gen 4x4. Now I bought this on Amazon, and in the past, and in this system, I used Corsair SSD, which was the best bang for the buck. But since then, and as predicted, companies have come out making SSDs that meet Sony's requirements and beat them in some cases. In this one, for example, it says read speeds up to 7,300 megabytes per second. So the speed capacity is way above what Sony recommends, and it's actually pretty cheap. So we picked up a 2 terabyte expansion, which we're gonna throw in here. I'm gonna show you how easy it is, and then we'll do the initial formatting and setup on this brand new PlayStation 5 Slim. Now you guys probably have a lot of other questions about the PlayStation 5 Slim, because I do too. Most notably, can you use your Xbox controller with the Besavior U5 dongle just like we did on this PlayStation 5 Fat? And can you use other gaming peripherals, especially in the wake of Microsoft blocking third-party devices on their Xbox Series S and X recently? Sony still, they kind of have blocked it right from the start, but we've got workarounds like this. And we're gonna find out if this still works on the PlayStation 5 Slim, or if there's new tricks that need to be employed. That's coming up in a different video, a future video, if you will. So make sure you've subscribed, because you probably will want to see that as well. But today, we're putting in this expansion. So let's go on this. Now, there's 2 ways to open this thing up. You can do it the way that I watched Austin Evans do it in his most recent video on the PlayStation 5 Slim, or you can do it the right way. I'm gonna show you guys the right way, and I hope that people watch this video to at least see the correct way to open up your PlayStation 5 Slim so that you don't wreck it like, unfortunately, what Austin Evans did in his video. So, the front edge of these have clips. The back edge have clips as well. You want to pull from the front edge. Now, under here is the Blu-ray drive. We do not need to open this up to swap our SSD in. It's this glossy panel. So if you have a disc edition, which you probably do, you're going on the disc side, but you're going to the glossy panel. And all you're gonna do is lift up like that from this side. Once you do, you're gonna lift up like this and then pull this away. So there's little hooks on here, little hooky tabs. Those tabs hook in on this side. If you pull from the back side, you'll rip the tabs off, just like Austin Evans did.
So we actually discovered a slight issue. The third time we took off one of these shells, we bent it back a little bit, but these little plastic little hooks started to bend back and it wouldn't go in. So we had to actually take some pliers and shove it back together.
He just didn't know what he was doing and caused some damage, and then was talking about how this is designed in a way that it's gonna break so that Sony can sell you a new one. That's not actually the case. It's designed so that if you know how to open it up, you'll never break it. You can do it a million times and it'll still work just fine every time. If you don't know what you're doing, you will break it. And luckily, Sony's gonna have aftermarket panels for those people so that they can put their PlayStation back together after they broke it, for not watching this video showing you how to do it. Now what this is gonna do, we've exposed our cooling fan and our SSD expansion port. Now the SSD expansion port has a Phillips head screwdriver. This is the plus sign, and I know people got mad at me for calling it a star. I've always called it a star my whole life, but it turns out it's actually a plus because it only has 4 points. But you're just gonna undo this screw right here, and then that comes off just like that, and that exposes our SSD expansion slot. And I'm really excited. I haven't even really looked at this yet. Now we're gonna open this guy up. Now it's pretty easy. It's got a perforated back. So somehow it just tears along the perforations. Now you can get this drive on Amazon. Again, it's really cheap. I bought the 2 terabyte version And before we stick it in, we do need to move this little screw here. So I'm going to switch to my roaming camera view. So what we're going to do here is undo this guy. So this is the standoff screw. And then we need to move this to the actual hole that lines up with our SSD, which is that one right there. So we're on the 80 hole, okay? Now, the SSD only goes in one way. And you're gonna put it in like this at an angle, like that, okay? And then it's gonna go straight down, like that. And it should, if you've done it right, it should line up right there. Okay, and then what I can do is drop my screw in there. And that's gonna hold this down just like that. And that is our installed SSD. It's actually quite easy. Now this one, because it is certified for PlayStation 5, the fins do not stick up too high, so we can actually install our plate. And this time, Sony's done something a little bit differently. Wow, okay. So, which way is the direction of cooling flow here? One thing I want to point out is the cooling flow here. My finger's too fat to show you guys very well. So this right here is actually cooling flow that comes out this hole right here. And this is part of the exhaust port that's going to pull the air out. But also, if I come around to the other side here, there's cooling ports on this side as well, so that that air can flow through here. So I believe it's going to flow across my cooling fan and then out, or my cooling fins, and then out right there. So it's designed for cooling in such a way that I can put this top back on and not be too worried about my drive overheating. If you wanted to leave it off, you can, but it would still short circuit the cooling flow in a way that I would not recommend that you do that. So it is recommended that you put this back on if it fits. If you've got one that has taller fins, it's not the end of the world if you leave it off. Again, you're just gonna want to keep it clean. And I had this one with the top off for a long time and it never even got very messy. You can see that's getting very smudgy already. I'll kind of rotate it around so the light can catch it. This is a smudge magnet. So to put it back on, we're gonna do the clips on this side, and then all we're gonna do is push down, right later, like that, one click, and that's it. It's back in position. Nothing else to do except boot it up and go through the formatting process, which I'm gonna show you anyway so you can see it. So we're gonna turn on the PlayStation 5 and see what the initial boot looks like with the hard drive freshly installed. It'll probably pick up on it, but let's find out. I don't even know because I haven't done this yet. Right off the bat, there it is, M.2 SSD storage. To use your M.2, you need to format it. If you want to continue using your PS5 without formatting, turn off your PS5 and remove it. Note that saved data, screenshots, and video clips can't be saved in M.2 SSD storage. So your only option is turn off the PlayStation 5 and remove the storage, or continue with the format. So in my case, I'm going to continue with the format because that's what I want to do. I want it installed. Now this drive is really inexpensive, but it will do a low-level format and then it should do a speed test. I'm curious to know how the performance is. Ah, there it is right there. The read speed of your M.2 is as follows: 6524 megabytes per second. Now you guys know from the packaging that it said it does up to 7500 megabytes per second. So it's actually a little slower than what the packaging said, which is not a surprise, but still well within Sony's recommended speeds. So I shouldn't notice any speed issues. Now it's telling me that it's been formatted, but I need to change where my games install. So I'm gonna go into storage. So I'm actually gonna do that. And we're just gonna go in. Oh, and then my disk drive is not registered. And registering your disk drive. Huh. So that's interesting. When I did my unboxing video, it gave me the option to not pair my disk drive to the system, and I chose not to because I didn't want to commit to it yet. But this time, it just paired it and it didn't even ask me. So now my disk drive is paired and I don't even get a choice. Now here we go. This is the regular PlayStation 5 startup. Like there's nothing special about this at all. We are now in the PlayStation 5. It's a regular PlayStation 5. There's nothing special about this, but I'm gonna go to settings. I'm gonna go to storage. And here we can see console storage, 848 gigabytes of total storage. The available storage is 830 because we currently have Astro's Playroom installed, which I've already played a little bit. I'll leave it on just because it's not bothering me. Here's my M.2 storage. And look at that, it's a 2 terabyte storage size, 2.05 terabytes, free space 2.04 terabytes. So I actually got 0.04 terabytes more than I expected. And I'm gonna go to install location here and the same thing. And PS5 games and apps, I'm gonna say install to the M.2. And PlayStation 4 games also install to the M.2 storage. I wanna fill that up first because it's the bigger one. I don't wanna have it across the two if I don't have to. On my PlayStation 5, I only had 1 terabyte of storage and it filled up. So then I had to start using the PlayStation storage. So I'm hoping that this will actually work with just this external drive, leaving the internal one. That's just me. You don't have to do that, but I'm doing that. So it's that easy. Now it's on and it's time to start installing games from my game library. Now it's gonna be a long and tedious process. So we'll jump back and end this video. And it's that easy. It doesn't take any special skills. You do need a screwdriver, which most households have. If you don't have one, what the heck? I'll put a link in the description for a small, inexpensive screwdriver set that everyone should have anyway, but probably you've got one of these lying around to do this swap. And it's very easy. It's a worthwhile upgrade. So this PlayStation 5 Slim has a 1 terabyte storage built in, but we only get about 840 gigabytes of usable storage. So you still might need an external drive just to fit all of your content, especially if you've got the one like we do, which came with Modern Warfare 3, because this game takes, I think it's like 300 gigabytes. So the extra 200 gigabytes they gave us over the original model, it's used up right away for the latest Xbox exclusive game that's played on your PlayStation 5. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.